Chapter 1, The Passenger. Most folks don't know what it's like to have nothing and still keep going. Like really going. Mouth dry, stomach empty, gas tank on E, but you still outside, grinding, smiling, talking like you ain't 2 steps from losing it. That was me, Devon Harris, but out here they call me Big Fico. Not 'cause I was rich yet, but because I knew the power of credit before most of my people even knew what a FICO score was. My journey wasn't fast. It wasn't flashy. But it was mine. I wasn't no baller, not yet. I was behind the wheel of a 14 Honda Accord, beat up seats and a Bluetooth that cut out every time I hit a pothole in MacArthur. I drove Uber out of necessity. From deep East Oakland to the downtown high-rises, I picked up strangers like I was collecting pieces of their lives. And in between rides, I plotted my own escape. That night was like any other. Jazz playing low, hoodie on, GPS lit. I was one ride from clocking out when I got a ping near 32nd and East Shaky Lil area, but I ain't flinch. That's home. The app said the rider's name was Kim. Cool, probably some chick coming from her situation. I pulled up to the curb, but instead of a female, a short, jittery dude with a duffel bag steps out the shadows. Hoodie low, chain out, eyes moving like they looking for somebody. Yo, you Fico? He asked. I nodded, hand resting under the steering wheel. You Kim? I asked, already knowing the answer. Nah, that's my girl. She inside. I'm taking a ride, though. It's good, bro. I looked him over. He was sweaty, hands twitching. His mouth said cool, but his body said trouble. You riding or not? I asked, keeping it neutral. He laughed nervously and jumped in. Yeah, I'm good. Just going down to 23rd. Quick little drop. I watched him toss the duffel on the floor at his feet and slam the door like it owed him money. We was cruising slow down International when his phone rang. He snatched it up like he'd been waiting on it all night. Hey, man, I told you I'm moving now, he yelled. You think I'm playing? I got it. I'm good, Tone. I'm good. Pause. Stop tripping. I'm on my way to Reese right now. Just chill. He hung up, then mumbled to himself like I wasn't even there. Stayed quiet, eyes forward, but my mind was already. Tone, Reese, Kim, a duffel bag. Late night, that twitch. This wasn't no regular rider. This was a runner. When we got to 23rd, he hopped out without saying another word. Didn't even look back. I watched him disappear into a corner store, then rolled off slow. I made it 3 blocks before something told me to check the back. Pulled into a gas station, popped the door, and there, the duffel, still sitting right there, heavy, quiet. I reached down and unzipped it. Cash, rubber bands tight. No labels, no receipts, just... My stomach twisted, my heart racing. That's when I heard his voice. Fico! I turned and saw him. Jay, my cousin, my brother, my headache. Posted up by pump 4, blowing smoke, hoodie on, eyes lit with curiosity. What you got in there, cousin? He grinned. I zipped the bag shut quick and stood up. Trouble, I said. Jay raised an eyebrow and blew a cloud. Then let's figure out how to make it easy trouble. Chapter 2, a dollar with a name on it. There's 2 types of money in the world, money you earn and money that's already claimed, that come with names attached. Blood on it. Wait, that duffel bag? That wasn't ours. That was somebody else's money. And deep down, I knew whoever it belonged to wasn't the type to file a police report. They was coming in person. Jay stood beside me outside the gas station, still smoking, still smiling. You gonna stand there? You gonna let me see what's in that bag? He asked, already knowing the answer. I tossed the duffel on the passenger seat, slammed the door, and looked him dead in the eye. I picked up some loudmouth dude named Reese over on 32nd, I said. He left this in my back seat. I didn't check it till I got here. Ain't mine. Jay opened the door, looked inside, and let out a low whistle. God damn. This ain't lunch money. I shook my head. Jay, this ain't no come up. This a test. He looked at me like I was speaking Chinese. A test? Nigga, this a blessing. From the streets to the car to us. That's divine transfer. I wasn't in the mood for his hood spiritual logic. You think some broke runner walking around with 100 racks in a duffel for no reason? You think that bag ain't GPS tagged? Or that whoever he answered to don't know his every move? Jay shrugged. Then why you telling me all this? You could have dumped it, burned it, handed it to the cops. But you didn't. You brought it here. To me, he was right. I did bring it to him, not because I trusted him to do the right thing, because I knew he'd push me to the edge. He always did. Jay been pulling me into storms since we was kids. When I ran from chaos, he lived in it. But we was grown now. And grown men gotta pick their own wars. We drove back to my spot. No music, no talk, just tension. I lived in a small duplex off 84th Ave. Rent-controlled, decent neighbors, but the walls thin and the streets thinner. I parked in the back to keep the car off the radar. Jay grabbed the duffel, held it like a newborn. Let's count it, he said. No, I snapped. Not yet. Not here. He looked at me like I was scared. You serious? Dead serious. If we touch it, we claim it. I need time to think. This ain't no corner hustle, Jay. This is a different bracket. People who move money like this don't yell. They pull up with silence and leave behind bodies. Jay leaned back against the hood, sucking his teeth. Man, you think too much. Nah, I said. You don't think enough. Inside, my spot was clean but humble. One bedroom, one laptop, vision board above my desk with goals written in Sharpie. A 680-plus credit score. And 3 trade lines reporting, an LLC paperwork filed, and a secure biz funding by July. Malik in a better school. I didn't sell dreams, I made plans, but this bag, it was a shortcut. And shortcuts in the hood, they usually circle back with a blade. Jay threw the duffel on my couch and started rolling up. You still with that Sierra girl? He asked. I nodded. Why? He chuckled. She don't strike me as the type to be down if shit hit the fan. Real estate chicks love safe dreams. She ain't perfect, but she's solid. Jay lit up and exhaled. Solid don't mean she won't fold under pressure. I ignored him. I had bigger problems, namely Reese. Later that night, I dug through the Uber ride history, looked for the address he got out at. 23rd and Eastmont, right by the laundromat with the mural of Huey Newton on the wall. I Googled Reese 23rd Oakland out of desperation. Nothing. Then I hit Instagram and typed in Reese the Plug. Boom. Page popped up, private, but his profile pic matched the twitchy dude from my back seat. Latest post geotagged Sacramento. Last week, I screenshotted everything. Wasn't gonna snitch, but I had to know what I was in. Jay crashed on my couch that night with the duffel beside him like a security blanket. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw my son Malik sitting at the kitchen table asking me what a DUNNY was, trying to spell out Donnie Blanco, not even knowing he was trying to pronounce the name of the man who'd kill his daddy over a duffel. Because that's who that money belonged to. I ain't know how I knew, but I knew. And I also knew tomorrow I had a decision to make. Chapter 3, Jay's plan, Fico's price. By the time the sun came up, Jay was already pacing in the living room like a pit that smelled steak. He had that energy, like he'd already made 10 decisions without asking nobody. Listen, he said, his voice low like we was being watched. We split it. Invest half. Wash the rest through small flips. Maybe start a trap-friendly car wash out of Antioch or some shit. People always need their whips cleaned, right? I stood in the kitchen stirring coffee, watching his mouth move but hearing nothing but red flags. Jay, nah, hear me out. Then we get an LLC. You know what an LLC even is? He blinked. Some business shit. I sat my mug down slow. It's a limited liability company. Keyword, limited liability. It separates your business from your personal, which means if shit goes left, they can't come for your ass. Just the biz. He stared. Okay. So that sounds like what we need, right? I walked over, leaned in. An LLC don't mean shit if your capital come from a bag full of stolen cash and the city's most cutthroat plug is on your ass. He scoffed. I ain't scared of no Blanco. You should be. Donnie Blanco wasn't no corner boss. This wasn't no Quan from 73rd with a Glock and 3 runners. Donnie ran a chain of laundromats, a few check cashing spots, and a trap funnel through a vegan cafe in Sacramento that pulled 6 figures a week on fake salads. His game was clean, until you crossed him. Then, it got real grimy. Jay flopped down on the couch, sighing hard like I was the one holding him back. Talking like we got options, Fico. You trying to give it back? I didn't answer. He chuckled. That's what I thought, but I wasn't trying to keep it either. See, I had plans, real plans. I wasn't just trying to get money. I was trying to build credit, stack funding, and own something that didn't come with a body count. I'd been watching YouTube tutorials on the low. How to build business credit in 90 days, LLC versus sole proprietor. How to fund your business using EIN only travel lines. I was learning, quietly. But this bag, it was a shortcut. And I didn't trust shortcuts. Around noon, I hit up Mr. Carter, the only OG I knew who actually made it out the streets clean. He used to run with my pops in the 80s, did his dirt, but came out the game with a dry record and a dry bottle. Now he lived in the hills with 2 Benzes, a black wife who gardened, and a driveway that smelled like lavender and victory. I pulled up solo, porch, holding a cup of black tea like he already knew. You look tired, son. I nodded, didn't sleep. He motioned for me to sit down. You bring the problem with you? Nah, I left it on the couch watching trap videos. He chuckled. Jay? You know, the duffel, the ride, Reese, the Instagram. He didn't flinch once. You still got it? He asked. I nodded. Then you got a choice, he said. You either make that money disappear or you make it talk. I leaned in. How? He reached behind his chair and pulled out a folder. Inside was a stack of business grant applications, a list of state-funded programs, and a checklist. Mid-file LLC in California. Register EIN with IRS, open business bank account, and apply for DUNS number. And build net 30 travel lines, Quill, Uline, Granger. Seek vendor page and apply for business credit cards, EIN only. Seek vendor-based funding, invoice factoring, vehicle lines. This, he said, tapping the page, is how we flip in 2025. No corners, no bodies. Just knowledge. I stared at the list. It wasn't sexy. It wasn't fast. But it was freedom. Back at the crib, Jay was halfway through a bottle of Remy, counting the stacks with a calculator like he knew what he was doing. I'm thinking we hit the outlet, he said. Drop 10 on gear, 5 on chains, pull up looking like something. I grabbed the bag, zipped it shut, and tossed it over my shoulder. Where you going? He barked. Somewhere that's gonna get us out this cycle. Jay looked confused. You talking in riddles, bro. I didn't stop walking. Get dressed, I said. We're going to file our first LLC. Chapter 4, The Birth of Fico Mobility Group. We pulled up to the state building on Franklin like two different versions of the same story. Dressed clean, fresh hoodie, decent jeans, no. Jay? Chain swinging, shades on, smelling like weed and regret. Yo, he whispered as we approached the glass doors. This place looked like court. Nah, I said, opening the door. This is where freedom starts. Filing the LLC was simpler than I thought. Took less than an hour. Filled out the form. Business name, Fico Mobility Group. Business purpose, personal transportation services, fleet development, and consulting. Address, used a mailbox rental joint off 51st for privacy. A registered agent, me, business start date today, because we wasn't waiting. Jay was quiet through most of it, like he was watching history. When we walked out, I had a folder under my arm and a new weight on my shoulders. It wasn't the duffel, it was responsibility. You really did that shit, he said. I ain't do nothing yet, I told him. But we got a foundation now. We slid to the bank next. Business or personal? The teller asked. Business, I said with my chest. We opened a business checking account in the name of Fico Mobility Group. I deposited $500 from my personal stash. Not the duffel. Not yet. Don't mix funds, Mr. Carter had warned. Your hustle gotta look clean from the start. Jay looked at me like I was a damn unicorn. You moving like one of you two finance dudes. I'm moving like somebody tired of ducking karma. He nodded slow. Respect. Later that night, I sat in front of my laptop building a digital paper trail and applied for an I from the IRS. Free and instant. Number through Dun and Bradstreet. Essential 4. All signed up for net 30 Tradlines with Uline and Quill. Ordered off of supplies I didn't need just to build a profile. And then registered on nav.com to monitor business credit growth. This wasn't flashy, wasn't loud, but this was power. The kind that didn't come with funerals or fake smiles. Jay, on the other hand, while I was building profiles, he was on Instagram Live with some girl named Trina talking about big bag season, Oakland rich. Let's get it. I muted the TV. Bro, I said, chill. You drawing too much attention. I ain't even showing nothing. You don't need to. Your mouth do the math for you. He rolled his eyes, but I could tell it landed. Jay wasn't stupid. He just needed structure. I was trying to give him that. But time was running short because we had that bag. And Donnie Blanco, he was already sniffing for it. The call came at 11:42 p.m. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. Then it came again. Same number. Jay glanced at me. You gonna answer? I hit green and said nothing. On the other end, a calm voice spoke like he was already in my living room. Mr. Harris, you have something that belongs to me. Who is this? You know who I am, the voice said. And I know where you are. Click. Jay turned pale. That was him, wasn't it? Yeah, I said, staring at the phone. He didn't say his name. Didn't need to. Donnie Blanco had made contact, and that meant we were on the clock. Chapter 5, The Offer. I couldn't sleep after that call. Didn't matter how many affirmations I whispered to myself. Didn't matter how many business books I had stacked on my dresser. That call from Blanco, it pierced through every ounce of optimism like a bullet through a glass window. Jay slept like he didn't hear a damn thing. Snoring, stretched out across the couch with the duffel tucked under him like it was a baby and not a brick of death. I stood on the balcony, hoodie on, staring out over the block. Oakland at night got a hum to it. Ain't sirens, it's soul. You can feel the ghosts of the old hustlers in the wind. That's when my phone rang again, same number. I answered this time without hesitating. Talk. The voice was calm, cold. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. at the old ferry pier by Jack London. Come alone. Bring the bag. Or don't come back. Click. I walked back inside and kicked Jay's foot. He jumped. Damn, bro. Wake up. Pack your shit. We got to be at the pier by 10. He rubbed his eyes. What pier? Blanco wants his money back. Jay sat up fast, looking around like he expected to see shooters in the hallway. I ain't dying behind a flip, Jay scoffed, still half drunk. So you just gonna hand it over? That's the easy way, huh? I looked him in the eye. No, that's the smart way. We pulled up to Jack London at 9:58. Gray skies. Fog sitting low like a warning. The pier was damn near empty except for two black Suburbans parked tail to tail, windows tinted, no movement. Jay sat stiff. You sure this ain't a setup? I nodded. No. We got out slow. I carried the duffel. We approached the cars and one of them opened. Out stepped Donnie Blanco himself. Clean. Real estate swag. Designer trench, soft gold glasses, no chains, no noise, just presence. 2 goons flanked him. One held a pistol in plain view. No fear, no rush. Blanco stepped forward. "So you're the Uber driver," he said. I nodded. "And you're the plug who lost track of his runners." His eyebrow twitched. "Just a little." Jay shifted beside me, but I held up my hand to silence him. "I got your money," I said, lifting the duffel. Blanco didn't even look at it. "That ain't why I brought you here." My heart paused. "Then why?" He took a slow step forward. "Because anyone smart enough not to touch 100 large for a week straight might be smart enough to make me money." Jay leaned in. "Wait, you offering us a job?" Blanco smiled. "No, I'm offering you a lane." He turned toward the water and began walking slowly. Me and Jay followed, dead quiet. "I got too many youngins who want to slide before they learn how to step. Too many shooters, not enough strategists. I need thinkers, quiet soldiers. And I've been watching you, Fico." "How?" I asked. He tapped his temple. "Because anybody that's connected to Reese is now connected to me. That includes ride history, security footage, cell towers. You wasn't hard to find. But the way you moved," he turned to face me, "that impressed me." He pulled a manila envelope from his coat and handed it to me. Inside, paperwork for a used car lot in West Sacramento, in a clean vendor account under the name Fico Mobility Group, and a payment schedule, and a nonverbal threat folded in between. "I'm giving you seed money. You make my cash grow, I protect your new lane. You cross me, and your cousin there," he looked at Jay, "dies first." Jay choked on his breath. "I don't need an answer," Blanco said. "You just show up tomorrow, or disappear." He turned and walked back toward the Suburban. The fog swallowed him whole. On the ride back, Jay was quiet for once. "You gonna do it?" he asked. I didn't answer, because truth is, I didn't know yet. Chapter 6, The Gamble. I didn't sleep that night. Again, Blanco's voice kept echoing in my head. "You make my cash grow, I protect your new lane. You cross me." I stared at the envelope on my kitchen table like it was a loaded pistol. Jay paced behind me like a hyena. "You think he for real? Like, you think he really let us run this car lot thing? Just like that?" I didn't answer right away. I had the paperwork spread out, clean lease agreement, business vendor account, even a shell company set up in Nevada to launder the vehicle profits. It was airtight, too airtight. Blanco didn't offer opportunities. He set traps with money tied to the trigger. But I ain't no pawn. Not anymore. By morning, I'd made my choice. We loaded up and hit the freeway to West Sacramento. The car lot was posted on a wide stretch of Stockton BLVD, sandwiched between a taco truck and a liquor store. The lot was fenced up with a handmade sign that read, "Coming soon, Fico Mobility West." Inside, it smelled like old rubber and dusty dreams. Desk in the corner, filing cabinet with a few folders, a dusty coffee pot. That was it. Jay walked around, eyes wide. "This really ours?" "Nah," I said. "It's on lease. With strings." Jay smirked. "Still feel like something." We spent the next few days getting the lot in shape. I kept things focused, got new signs made, business insurance set up, opened a business PayPal and Stripe account. I called the DMV and began applying for a dealer license. I even reached out to a few local car auctions in Sacramento and Modesto, pre-qualifying for repo units. I used the remaining cash from the duffel, not all, just enough to get the first 4 cars. I was moving smart, legal overlays, business structure, minimal risk. But Jay, he was starting to drift. I caught him outside the lot posting on Instagram Live, leaning on one of the new whips. "Big wins over here. Y'all still trapping while we out here flipping foreigns. Tag your broke homie and tell him the streets closed." I damn near snatched the phone out of his hand. "Bro, what the hell are you doing? You trying to get us smoked?" Jay pulled back annoyed. "Man, chill. I ain't even say nothing illegal. We bosses now." "No," I snapped. "I filed that paperwork. I got the vendor accounts. I mapped the credit play. You just holding the camera." That hurt him. I saw it in his eyes. "Bet," he muttered, walking off. That night, I called Mr. Carter, told him everything, Blanco's offer, the car lot, the silent threat. He didn't interrupt once. When I finished, he sighed. "You walked into the fire, son. I'm trying to walk out of it, then stay sharp. Blanco don't give gifts. He sets tests. He ain't trying to build you. He trying to own you." "I know," I said. "But what if I use his playbook to flip it on him?" Silence. Then, "Now that's Big Fico talking." 2 days later, Jay ain't show up to the lot. Phone went to voicemail, no text back. I called Trina, his usual drama queen. She said he'd been acting weird, talking about moving weight again, mentioned Reese. Even said he might hit back to Oakland for a few personal moves. Damn fool, I knew what that meant. Jay was about to mess up everything. And right when I thought it couldn't get worse, a black Escalade pulled up to the lot. Out stepped one of Blanco's lieutenants. Button shirt, gold watch, 45 on the hip. "Boss said to check on you." He said, eyes scanning me like inventory. He also said, If your little cousin cross him again, we ain't coming to talk no more. I nodded once. Tell him the business is running smooth. I'll handle Jay. He stared at me, then gave a tight smile. You better... He got back in the SUV and pulled off. I stood there on the pavement, hot sun cooking the lot, cars glistening like fake promises. I had one foot in the future and one foot still caught in the past. And Jay was about to drag us both back to the bottom. Chapter 7, Jay's Mistake. It was 1:14 a.m. when the call came. Yo. His voice was shaky, like he was running. Fico. I messed up. Jay had gone back to Oakland, back to the east, back to his old ways. He met up with Reese, the twitchy runner who left the duffel in my car that started this whole damn story. Turns out Reese had been hiding out in Fremont, low-key broke, paranoid as hell. But he was still talking reckless. Saying Blanco ain't do shit, saying he had a plan to make things right by moving some product on the side. Jay? He saw a quick flip. Said Reese offered him a small run, $30K worth of product for a one-day stretch through Antioch, cash return. No frontin'. He said it was clean. Jay stuttered on the phone. You believed him? I asked, dead quiet. Jay didn't answer. That morning, I woke up to a voicemail from Blanco's right hand, same gold watch goon from the Escalade. You better tighten your circle, Fico. We just found Reese's body behind a burned-down taco shop in Eastmont. Jay's name came up. Your name came up. I hope your operation's in order. I drove to Oakland that same hour. No hesitation. No second thoughts. Jay was posted in his old spot on 73rd, chain out, hoodie up, gun on his lap like it meant something. When he saw me, he smiled like nothing had changed. "'Cause, you got here quick." Boom. I slammed him into the hood of my car. You dumb motherfucker, I growled. You just painted a target on both of us. He pushed me back, angry. I did what I had to do. I ain't like you, Fico. I ain't made for paperwork and Zoom calls. I needed a flip. You needed discipline. I could feel it. The love and the rage fighting inside me. This was my blood. But blood ain't always loyal, and loyalty don't always bleed. I brought him back to Sacramento. Made him sit inside the dealership office, surrounded by titles, files, and 3 legit used vehicles we just posted online. This is what we built, I told him. This is ours. And you damn near burned it to the ground for one lick with a dead man. Jay sat quiet. Then he spoke, low. I ain't built like you, bro. I want to be, but I ain't. I looked him in the eye. Then let me show you that week I made him sit with me while I applied for a Capital One Spark business card using our Ian, then updated our NAV business profile. Then they reached out to local mechanics about a vendor partnership, scheduled our first ad campaign on Craigslist, and sent an application to a mobile car wash grant program. Mr. Carter emailed me. And Jay? He watched, listened, even helped make flyers. But the guilt never left his eyes. 3 days later, Blanco called, voice sharp, cold. Then he said something that shook me. Get rid of him, or I will. I sat on that for 2 nights, 2 whole nights. Then on the 3rd morning, I woke Jay up. Pack your bags, he blinked. What? You going to Houston. Carter got a homie out there running a small fleet and a tire shop. They'll take you on. But you can't be in Sac no more. Jay stood there, frozen. I'm getting kicked out. No, I said, I'm saving you. He nodded. We didn't hug, didn't cry. But when he got on that Greyhound later that night, he looked back at me one last time. And I could tell, for the first time in his life, he was ready to grow. Chapter 8, Fico on the rise. 3 months. That's how long it took. 3 months since Jay left for Houston. 3 months since I damn near lost everything. 3 months since I made a vow to myself, no more shortcuts. Only strategy. Fico Mobility Group was finally moving. We had 5 cars posted across 4 different platforms. OfferUp, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and even Turo. I started doing rent-to-own deals for folks with bad credit, and you'd be surprised how many people will pay extra for a second chance. I wasn't rich yet, but I wasn't hustling backwards either. Got approved for 2 business credit cards under my Capital One Spark business. Divvy corporate line net 15. Used both to pay for repairs, parts, and legit ad. Then I secured a $3,000 grant from a local small business accelerator program in Sacramento. I filled out the app at 2 a.m. while eating top ramen. Got the funds a month later. That's when I called Mr. Carter. Told you, he said. They printing money for us now. We just got to know how to ask. I laughed, but it was true. On Sundays, I drive through North Sacramento, windows down in my new used Infiniti, not to flex, but just to feel the breeze. Malik was staying with Tasha during the week, but I had him every weekend. I'd take him to get cuts, then hit the dealership. I'd teach him how to wipe down tires, check the oil, how to spot real from fake. I was building something, not just for me, but for him. Then came the next knock. This one, it didn't come with violence. It came with a suit. Guy walked into the lot like he was just browsing, calm, but his presence was too cold to be. You Fico? He asked. I nodded. He handed me a card. Jeremiah Knox, private consultant, Blanco Holdings. Donnie wants to expand, he said. He wants you to manage a satellite lot in Stockton. Under your name. Legit paperwork. He'll fund the cars. You keep 25% of sales. I crossed my arms. And what's the real price? Jeremiah smiled. No more favors, no more pressure. He said it's your reward for loyalty. Loyalty. That word hit different now. That night I talked to Mr. Carter. What do? I asked. He poured tea slow. Thought even slower. Expansion is a blessing until it becomes a leash. I nodded. Then I called Donnie myself. Stockton's cool, I told him. But I want 40%. I want my own vendor list. And I want the paperwork to show I'm the owner, not just a puppet. There was a long pause. Then a laugh. You got balls, Fico, Blanco said, but you got sense too. I respect that. It's yours. Fico Mobility. Stockton opened a month later. Clean building. 6 cars on site. 1 full-time mechanic. And a billboard off I-5 with my logo on it. Fico Mobility Group. Ride smart, not fast. Morning watching traffic pass, sun rising behind. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I was running. I felt like I was winning. But just when I thought I was finally clear, a black Benz with no plates pulled into the lot. And when the window rolled down, I saw a face I hadn't seen since I took that first ride all those months ago. Tasha, with Reese's little cousin riding shotgun, both of them smiling, like trouble had just come back with a new name. Chapter 9, backtrack. She stepped out like she never left. Tasha, same smooth walk, same slick attitude, same smirk that made you want to believe her even when you knew she was lying. Behind her was a younger dude, skinny, gold fronts, hoodie low. I recognized him from back in the day. Lil Reese. Real name? Rashawn. Reese's little cousin. Hot-headed. Too much mouth, not enough muscle. I stood at the edge of the lot, arms crossed. What you doing here, Tasha? She smiled, adjusting her shades. What, I can't check on my baby daddy's empire? I looked past her. You brought him to my place of business? Lil Reese stepped forward. I got business too, blood. I stepped closer. Say what you gotta say, then bounce. He licked his lips, postured up. My cousin ain't die over no duffel. He died, 'cause he got played. Somebody fit his name to Blanco. Somebody out here snitching. I didn't flinch. You talking reckless, kid. I'm saying if I find out it was one of y'all, it's up. He walked right up to my face, close enough to smell the Red Bull on his breath. And I let him talk. Then I looked at Tasha. You co-signing this? Bring him here to start a war. But if truth got her, that's when I knew. She didn't come to check on me. She came to checkmate me. Later that night, I sat in the back office of the Stockton lot, blinds drawn, pistol on the desk, duffel still under the floorboard. Yeah, that duffel. I never gave Blanco everything. I kept about $20,000 clean, untouched. Emergency stash, call it instinct. Now I was thinking about it heavy. Tasha showing up with Rashawn? That wasn't random. She wanted leverage. And Blanco? He'd love any excuse to start cleaning house. I hit up Sierra just to hear a voice that still meant something. She answered tired. Fico? Yeah, you all right? No, but I'm focused. She sighed. You miss Malik? Every second. Call tomorrow. He wants to ride in a car with your... I smiled. Small one. That's the only legacy I care about. I hung up, closed the blinds tight, and started checking cameras around the lot. Then I called Mr. Carter. Tasha came back. He didn't sound surprised, like a bad investment. She's stirring up old blood. You clean now, he said, but don't get it twisted. You still in the field. You still got a jersey on. I nodded to myself. I might have to make another move. Don't move out of fear, son. Move from strategy. I looked over at the burner phone. Still had Blanco's direct line saved. Still had that option. But maybe it was time to end this on my terms. I stood in front of the lot and made a call to end. The next morning, old contact, a notary, a business broker, and a banker who owed Mr. Carter a favor. It was time to do what Blanco never expected. Make my way out, the smart way, because they all think we gotta play dirty just 'cause we started in the mud. But I ain't Big Fico from the block no more. I'm Big Fico the boss. And this chessboard, I own half the pieces now. Chapter 10, the exit strategy. I was done playing defense. This was my move. I've been in the game long enough to know when the clock's ticking. And right now, time was running out on the illusion of safety. Tasha brought heat. Lil Reese brought drama. And Blanco, he brought pressure the quiet way. No threats, no outbursts. Just that feeling like your walls were closing in. I wasn't going to wait for the collapse. I was going to step out clean. The plan: 1, sell the Stockton lot fast and quiet. 2, transfer the business assets to a new LLC under a different name. Private funding through a legit lender before Blanco. 4, relocate the brand to Vegas. New turf, no attachments. 5, change the game completely. I called my business broker contact, Janine from Sacramento. Real one. Owed Carter from a flipped church property back in 02. Takes 6 weeks to sell under the radar, she said. But if you price it right, we could be talking cash buyers in 3. Make it 2, I told her. I'll sweeten the deal. Low miles, clean titles, transferable plates. No dirty money, she paused. No dirty money? I'm serious. It's time. I spent the next 2 days shifting everything. Changed my nav account. Moved the website domain. Updated the IN on file. Cleaned the office top to bottom. Shredded any doc with Blanco's fingerprints on it. Even burned the original duffel behind the lot under camera blind spots. Watched it turn to ash while Jay's voice echoed in my mind. This the easy way, huh? Nah, it was the right way. Then came the call, not from Blanco, from one of his runners. Voice low, almost respectful. Boss want to meet. When? Tomorrow night, 9 p.m., downtown Oakland. The rooftop above the KeyBank building. Why there? He wants you to see what you're about to walk. I didn't tell Mr. Carter this time. Didn't tell Sierra. Didn't even pray on it, like a man who already knew how the meeting. The rooftop, cold wind, big city lights, Blanco in all black with a cigar half lit. You really did it, he said, not even turning around. You really built something. I did. And now you trying to sell it off, start fresh. New name, new city. You watching me again? He laughed. Always was. He turned finally and looked me in the eye. You think I didn't know you only gave me part of the money, that you kept the side stash, that you made moves through Carter's people? I didn't flinch. He nodded slowly. That's why I like you. He stepped forward, took a puff. But liking someone don't mean I let him go. I stepped forward too. You don't own me, Blanco. Maybe not, but I made your name ring. That Fico Mobility brand, that's mine in spirit. No, I said, calm and cold, it's mine in paperwork. I pulled out a flash drive. On here is a full purchase agreement. Broker confirmed. Buyer signs Monday. Once it's gone, you have no claim. And if anything happens to me, my lawyer leaks everything. He didn't blink. You threatening me? No, I said. I'm setting you free too. I'm not the type you want to chain down, Blanco. I'm the type you want to point to and say, yeah, he made it out from my camp. He stared at me for a long time. Then finally, he smiled. Take your win, Fico. He turned and walked off into the darkness. And just like that, the leash snapped. 1 week later, LLC transferred. Name wiped from the original. I packed up Malik and Sierra and moved to a small spot in Henderson, Nevada, 15 minutes from the Vegas Strip. I rebranded everything. Mobility made simple, LLC, same hustle, new game, all clean. And that Maybach? Yeah, I got it. Bought it under the business name. 4.2% interest. Paid off in 15 months. I took Malik for a ride one night, just me and him. He looked around wide-eyed. You rich now, Daddy? I laughed. Nah, little man, I'm free. 6 figures ain't enough. Chapter 11, a new hustle, a new standard. Vegas don't sleep. It watches. It tempts. It tests. And for Big Fico, it was the perfect next chapter. 3 months deep into Nevada, I had the new business Mobility made simple, running like clockwork. No heat, no Blanco, just rentals, flips, and cash flow. My clientele stretched from Henderson to North Las Vegas. Tourists, college students, strip club bouncers, bottle girls, all of them needing cars that looked the part. But even with solid cash coming in, I started realizing something. 6 figures wasn't freedom. It was survival in a silk shirt. The rent on my warehouse jumped. Insurance doubled. Malik's school tuition was eaten. Sierra started talking about buying property, and I ain't even mad at it. I wanted that too, but I knew I had to scale. Not just work harder, work smarter. I was in the barbershop one Saturday when the idea hit me, not from some motivational speech or podcast. It was a girl. Long legs, curly hair, designer bag, walked in to sell cookies for her cleaning company, but she didn't look like no cleaner. She looked like a trap queen in scrubs. And the way every dude in there looked at her, that's when the idea was born. French tips, not a cleaning service, not exactly. It was a brand, a fantasy wrapped in professionalism. Women, sexy, discreet, well-dressed like elite maids, would show up to clean luxury homes, penthouses, and high-end suites while collecting intel, security system layouts, safe locations, gun stashes, jewelry spots, spare keys. They didn't take nothing during the job. They just watched, documented, reported. Then later, the wolves came, carefully, quietly, gone by dawn. I didn't start it right away. I built the concept on paper. Ina formed an anonymous LLC under a silent partner's name. Ina paid for top-tier business insurance just for optics. Unhired 4 women through word of mouth, all of them smart, fine, and loyal to the bag. And then taught them how to clean like pros and case like crooks. I called the operation French Tips a luxury cleaning experience. The Instagram page looked like Vogue X Clorox. Our tagline, Polish with purpose, but behind closed doors. Chapter 12, French Tips first hit. The target was light-skinned, 6 feet 6 inches, and cocky as hell. Jamal Bro, NBA shooting guard for the Sacramento Royals, known for his 3-pointers and his 3-girl roster. Rented a $2.1 million smart home in Summerlin. Posted every damn thing on his story, including the code to his pool gate. And most importantly, he booked French tips himself. The request came through the website. Name, B. Fields. Requested service, full clean plus aromatherapy service. Notes, make sure your girls wear all white. I like my angel sent from heaven. Yeah, he was one of those. I had Joy, Nessa, and Dom on the roster that day. 3 of my best. Joy had a face like a gospel solo and a body that could start arguments. Nessa was quiet, surgical, eyes like a hawk. Dom was the wild card, tattoos, sarcasm, and absolutely fearless. They wore white two-piece French-made fits with luxury-style gloves, lemon-scented oils, and Bluetooth earbuds connected to my feed. I watched everything in real time from the command center. A blacked-out Sprinter van parked 2 blocks away. The house was next level. Marble floors, open layout, wall-length windows, security system by Vault, elite level. What Jamal didn't know is Dom used to date one of Vault's techs. She knew how to spot the blind zones. They got to work. Joy distracted Jamal, flirting about how hard it must be to be so famous, through the master bedroom, memorizing the location. Dom scoped the guest suite and caught a gun safe beneath the bed. Live footage came through to my laptop. I screenshotted every detail, marked floor plans, saved timestamps. It wasn't just about money. This was precision. Then came the problem. Dom clicked her comm and whispered, "Fico, we might have company. What kind?" She angled her phone discreetly. A man in a black hoodie and ski mask, posted on the neighbor's roof, sniper style, watching the house. Not Jamal's security, not LAPD, somebody else. Pull him out, I said. Now, but Joy was still inside. Had her cornered in the kitchen trying to get slick. Nessa called out, calm but firm. "Time to wrap it up, Mr. Bro, your hour's up." Dom went back in, played it off like she left something in the guest suite. 2 minutes later, all 3 were walking down the driveway, slow and sexy, like nothing happened. They got in branded Tesla, smiled, waved at the ring cam, clean. But I was watching that masked figure the whole time. He didn't flinch, didn't move, just disappeared from the roof right as we pulled off. Back at the Sprinter, I loaded the files, floor plans, blind spots, gun safe combo, surveillance triggers. It was textbook. But that man, he wasn't part of the play. I sent a still shot to Mr. Carter. He called back in 5. "That's one of Blanco's old enforcers," he said. "Goes by the name Kilo, real ghost, real patient. Thought I was off Blanco's radar." Carter went quiet. "Maybe you are," he said, "but maybe someone else. Just took interest." I stared at the pause footage. 3 maids and a ghost with a scope. Chapter 13, the Drop Vegas edition. 3 weeks after the Jamal Bro recon, the green light came. We picked a new mark, a Vegas regular. Name, Dr. Leonard Vasquez. Profession, celebrity plastic surgeon. Clientele, athletes, adult stars, socialites, cartel wives. Assets, rumored $250,000 in watches. $100,000 in loose cash kept in safes. Yes, plural. Location, private high-rise penthouse off Flamingo, top floor, valet-only access. He wasn't flashy, but he was predictable. Wednesdays he worked late and came home with a different woman. Fridays he flew to LA for business. His maid service had been gone since COVID. Enter French tips. This time, I switched up the crew. Dom stayed behind. She was too recognizable after the bro house. Instead, I rolled with Naomi, 5 feet 8 inches, caramel skin, fluent in 3 languages, ex-stripper turned esthetician. She could charm a priest into tipping. And Brandy, slim, tatted, with an eye for tech, former bottle girl who used to hang with scammers until she became one. And Jules, new recruit. Quiet, sweet smile, soft voice, but something about her made me cautious. She said she was from Atlanta, said she just needed a second chance. We ran rehearsals like it was Ocean's 11. Everyone knew the layout, the timing, the backdoor code Jules lifted off his old Ring camera app. We even learned where the motion sensors cut off, the one flaw in his updated security. Thursday night. Dr. Vasquez was in LA. His assistant confirmed via Instagram, tagged at catch, flexing with reality stars. We moved. Naomi and Jules arrived first, in uniform, in character. Her valet didn't blink. Brandy entered separately with supplies. I watched the whole thing from a rented office space across the street. Binoculars, laptop, gun on the table, headset in my ear. Inside the penthouse, the place was immaculate. Smelled like Versace candles and synthetic power. Marble bar, glass wine rack, lead-lit mirror wall. He had 2 safes, one hidden in the closet behind a false panel, the other behind a touchscreen on his vanity. Jules cracked the closet panel like she'd done it before. I watched her fingers work like second nature. No hesitation, no second guessing. Brandy whispered, "Yo, that safe ain't even locked." Naomi chimed in. "Either dude's stupid or he's setting us up." I felt it too. "Grab what you can, no sloppy moves, be out in 5, I said in the mic. They moved fast. Cash, 2 Rolexes, a chain that looked heavy, and a flash drive labeled Black Book 20,200,000 in 2024. They didn't touch the second safe. Instinct said no. As silk. Left behind a lemon cent and a folded. Back at HQ, we inventoried everything. Cash, $42,800. Watches real, drive, encrypted. Jules asked if she could crash on the couch. Claimed her ride was flaky. I nodded. Let her. But I was watching now. She moved too well. Didn't panic. Knew too much. That safe panel? She opened it like she'd been in that penthouse before. Later that night, while the others slept, I scanned the flash drive. Encrypted, but not military grade. Carter helped me crack it. What we found? Photos, receipts, video files, surgeries, off-books clients, stacks of hush money transfers. People with real power. People who didn't want to be seen. And one folder labeled Vegas Cleanup 2021. Inside, photos of bodies, coordinates, names. One name made my stomach flip. Jules. Fully visible. Standing over a body. Gloves on. No, not casing. Cleaning. Chapter 14. Who is Jules? I sat there in silence. The glow of the laptop screen painting the room in ghost light. Everyone else was asleep. The flash drive sat beside me like a loaded weapon. And Jules? She was stretched out on the office couch, sleeping like she ain't just changed everything. The folder didn't lie. There she was, in a photo taken mid-2021, dressed in black, gloves on, face clear. Standing over a man, bullet wound in the temple, blood seeping into a designer rug. Behind her, the same lead-lit wall from Dr. Vasquez's penthouse. So this wasn't her first time there. She didn't just clean it, she cleared it. And that made her something else, a ghost in disguise. You was right, I said. I let a wild card in the house. Say less. You got eyes on her now? Sleeping on my couch? Then don't sleep on her. I pulled her file from the onboarding docs. Fake name, out-of-state phone, no social media, emergency contact, blank. So I made a call to a Vegas PI card I used back in the day. Told him I needed a deep dig on Jules, a.k.a. Juliana Jones, Atlanta origin, maybe fake, possibly tied to past crime scenes. He said give him 48 hours. I gave him 24. Meanwhile, I played it cool. That morning, Jules woke up stretching like nothing was wrong. You always work this early? She smiled, yawning. Boss hours, I said, smirking back. She grabbed her phone, checked her text, and walked toward the bathroom. She was too calm, too smooth, like somebody trained her how to move. Later that day, the crew showed up to run logistics for the next cleaning, the front-end paperwork while I watched from. She carried herself like a soldier, confident, quiet. Even Brandy pulled me aside and said she realer than Dom ever was. You got a diamond with her, but diamonds get cut too. And I needed to know what kind of blade I had in my house. The PI hit me back later that night. I don't know who the hell you just hired, but that ain't her first time around murder. Go. She's not Juliana Jones. Her real name is Simone Prater, born in New Orleans. Father was a contractor, mysteriously disappeared during a military job in South America. Mama ran a daycare. Girl vanished at 16, reappeared in D.C. at 19 under a new name. Got caught in a federal sting at 21. Charges disappeared. Vanished? Like sealed or erased. I found whispers she worked with a cleanup unit. Maybe she adjacent, maybe freelance, but she ain't normal. My hand gripped the edge of the desk. She's trained. She's a ghost, Fico, a sexy ghost, but a deadly one. I hung up, heart steady. She was dangerous, but also valuable, and I had two options. Cut her loose, or put her in charge. That night, I walked into the office. She was alone, scrolling on her phone. I sat across from her. Who you really work for? She looked up, no surprise in her face. Thought it'd take you longer to ask. I didn't blink. Answer. She locked eyes with me. I used to clean for high-profile clients, not the kind to leave Yelp reviews. I saw things, did things. Then I disappeared. Why French tips? She leaned forward. Because I heard about Big Fico, the Uber driver who turned a bag of stolen money into a legitimate empire, the one who told Blanco no. I wanted in. Why? Because I've been controlled by people like him, and I know how to destroy them. Chapter 15, The Black Book. Jules, Simone, sat across from me, calm like she wasn't just confessing to being the deadliest woman I ever hired. She slid the flash drive back across the desk. This ain't just leverage, she said. It's insurance. I plugged it into the encrypted laptop. My hands were steady, but my mind was racing. Inside the Black Book 2020 to 2024 folder was a series of tabs. Clients, surgeries, cleanups, wire transfers, locations, ghost files. Each one was deeper than the last. We started with clients, U.S. Senator, 2 NFL owners, 3 adult film companies, 1 famous pop star who died of an overdose in 2022, all linked to Dr. Vasquez, every last one. And not just through surgery. Some were paying him to erase people. Botched implants were a front. Some jobs weren't in the OR. They were in basements, rooftops, and black SUV trunks. Who was listed as the field cleaner on 5 of those. Simone Prater, you're on this list, I said. I know, she said. They trusted me. I was useful. And now I'm dangerous to them. Same as you. The Ghost Files folder held footage, all time-stamped, all raw, and a senator being handed an envelope by a man with a cartel tattoo. And a billionaire's wife dragging a limp body into a hot tub and calling it a drunk drowning. Burning documents outside of Blanco Holdings old. That last one, the figure was wearing my hoodie. I stepped back from the screen. They'd been tracking me, even before I built Fico Mobility. Simone looked up at me. You're not just a threat anymore, you're a liability. They know you're building legit, that you're expanding. I nodded. And you? I used to be one of their weapons. Now I'm a wild card they can't locate. That's why I came to you. Because I knew you weren't scared to build out of nothing. I leaned back in the chair, head spinning, eyes sharp. I got 2 car lots, a cleaning front, business credit lines, my son in private school, and now I got a flash drive that could start a war. Simone stood, slow. You also got me, and if you're smart, you'll use what's in that book, not to expose them, but to own the table. She walked out the office, heels clicking like gunshots, and I sat there, not a king, not a soldier, but something in between. Chapter 16, Power Moves Only. The Black Book wasn't just evidence, it was equity. And in a city like Vegas, power ain't about how loud you talk, it's about what you're holding when the room goes quiet. I didn't go to the police, didn't upload anything to no damn internet, didn't go looking for a revenge. I went looking for leverage. That's where Vegas's real elite met when they didn't want to be seen. Lawyers, judges, investors, club owners, shady campaign donors, and a few people with names so big they don't need titles. I was escorted to the back. Mr. Tate sat at the table. Old money, oil money. Money so long it don't make noise when it move. He looked up from his drink, smirking. Big Fico, the Uber driver turned mobility mogul. I didn't flinch. And you, the money launderer disguised as a philanthropist, he chuckled. To what do I owe this bold-ass entrance? I slid him a copy of the Black Book, not the whole thing. Just 4 pages, enough to scare him, enough to prove I had more. He went pale at page 2. Jesus Christ. This is just the intro. He looked at me. You leaking this? Nah, I'm offering it as an insurance policy. In return, I want one thing. And what's that? Access to, and high-level auction invites, unsent commercial real estate leads, inside info on government-funded transportation grants, and the 3 fake businesses I could use as write-off shells, and a list of judges who owed favors to Tate's people. He stared at me like I'd grown wings. This ain't street hustle anymore, he said. You're playing a different game now. I built this with debt and vision, I said. Now I'm protecting it with silence. That night, Simone met me back at the lot. You pull it off? She asked. I nodded. More than that, I just bought our next 3 moves. We sat on the roof, Vegas skyline lit like a trap star's wrist. All? She asked. Expose them. Crash the system. Because the system ain't mine to crash, I said. But I can bend it. She sipped her drink, smiling. That's why I chose you. 2 weeks later, Group was listed in a federal small business. I received an invite to apply for a $250,000 low-interest fleet expansion loan. French Tips had booked 6 new cleaning clients, including a country singer with a habit of leaving diamonds in his cigar box. And the final cherry, Simone handed me a folder. Vegas Strip. Old massage parlor for sale. Zoned commercial. All cash or shell business. I flipped the folder closed. For a mobile luxury rental hub. Cars, maids, and, Chapter 17, enemies with suits on. It wasn't gangsters at the gate anymore. It was men in suits. Ties, shiny shoes. Smiles sharp enough to kill you softly. The warning came in quiet. A letter. No logo, typed on blank paper. Your business name has come up in a series of ongoing federal inquiries tied to shell corporations and suspicious vendor activity. Consider this a courtesy, signed with a simple, a friend. I read it twice, then burned it. I called Simone. We got fed smoke, I said. She didn't sound shocked. They found the shells already? Not yet, but they sniffing. Probably from that grant we just applied for. Big numbers make big targets. That's when I knew it was war. We went through everything. French Tips was still invisible. No ties to my real name. Operated under Simone's offshore LLC. The mobility made simple was clean. But the shell companies we use for vehicle write-offs? Too many moves, too fast? The Black Book leverage? That might have been the flare that lit up the sky. We scrubbed what we could. Killed 3 LLCs. Moved remaining funds to digital wallet splits across 4 states. Simone erased browser histories, burned SIM cards, and ghosted 2 email chains. Then I made a call. To Mr. Tate. He answered on the first ring. You move fast, he said. So do your people, I snapped. Someone's snitching. I need a firewall. Then, I told you this game comes with heat. You want protection, you pay for it. I already bought access. Protection? That's a separate price. Looked like a villain from a Netflix political drama. Smelled like cigar smoke and judgment. Didn't talk much. Just handed me a document titled Temporary Federal Oversight Advisory for Minority-Owned Fleet Enterprises. A fake program. On paper, it looked like I was being audited by a private agency. But really, it was just Tate's cover for feds to back the hell off. He said I'd get 6 months of breathing room in exchange for a percentage of non-existent profits from the Vegas lot. When one deep cleaning favor from French tips, off record, no questions asked, I took the deal, not because I trusted him, but because survival don't care how clean the paper is. It cares how safe the play is. Back at the office, Simone looked over the fake advisory file and shook her head. You just bought your freedom with lies. I bought time, I said, and that's worth more than money right now. That night, I stood alone in the new property on the Strip, the old massage parlor Simone found. Dark tile, no windows, thick walls, and I saw it, the future. Fico Enterprises, one umbrella, 3 branches, mobility and cleaning, control. Chapter 18, the blueprint. Every kingpin has a castle, but real bosses, they build blueprints first. I stood in the center of the old massage parlor, now stripped bare, concrete exposed, dust thick on the window sills. But in my head, I saw glass walls. I saw a rotating security system powered by a fake third-party logistics firm. And in the back room, a hidden vault for the real books. Fico Enterprises wasn't just a business. It was infrastructure. 3 layers deep. 1, mobility made simple. Vegas and Sacramento, ride rentals, Turo, dealership contracts. 2, French tips. Private cleaning for the elite and underground surveillance ops. 3, Crownky Logistics, a ghost company built for the digital paper trail. Move data but really move money. Each one fed into the next. LLCs registered in different states. Bank accounts unlinked. Profit moved through crypto swaps and drop accounts managed by Simone's connects in Atlanta. But while I was laying bricks, Sierra started watching. You ever gonna tell me what you really do? She asked one night, folding Malik's uniform for school. I own a business, I said, not looking up. She laughed. It wasn't cute. You own something, all right, but it ain't just cars. Malik heard 2 guys talking outside the lot the other day. Said Fico be cleaning houses too. You explain that? My jaw clenched. Look, I built something to protect us. I got enemies that don't play fair. I can't run a 9-to-5 and survive in this world. She stared at me. I didn't ask you to survive. I asked you to grow up. That one hit. I ain't say nothing. Later that night, Malik sat on the porch with me. Daddy, are we rich now? Nah, I said. We just not broke anymore. He nodded. Are you a good guy? I froze. Where you get that from? Me with the kind of eyes that make you question. I try to be, I said. But good guys don't always win where we from. Sometimes you gotta be smart before you can be good. He didn't get it fully, but he nodded again. I want you to be both. The next morning, Simone dropped a bomb on me. You ready for this? For what? She slid me a tablet. On screen, FBI opens quiet investigation into luxury cleaning cartel in Las Vegas. No names, no direct hits, but they had a map, and it looked a little too familiar. Chapter 19, Under Surveillance. The news report didn't say my name, didn't show my face, didn't show Simone's or Naomi's or Brandy's either, but it felt like a mugshot. Authorities believe the operation is using a luxury cleaning front to infiltrate homes of high net worth individuals, potentially gathering data for later robberies. Sources say the team is highly organized, primarily composed of women, with ties to LLCs based in Las Vegas, Atlanta, and Sacramento. We watched it from the Sprinter van. No one spoke. Simone finally clicked the screen off. Somebody talking. I nodded. And somebody watching. That night I checked all the security feeds. French Tips HQ, both mobility lots. The Strip office, nothing strange at first. Then I saw it. A man in a maintenance uniform walking through the rear lot in Henderson. No tools, no gloves, just a cap low and a phone aimed at the building. He came at 3:14 a.m., in and out in 4 minutes. Didn't break in, didn't take anything. But he left with something. Footage. Sierra was waiting when I got home. Red eyes, Malik's backpack by the door. You knew it was coming, she said. I got a plan. She shook her head. Malik ain't part of your plan. I'm protecting him. No, you're training him. I stepped back. That one hurt. You teaching him how to dodge problems, lie with a straight face, move like a ghost. I can't let him grow up thinking that's normal, Devon. She used my real name, which meant she wasn't talking as a partner. She was talking like she already made up her mind. I'm taking him to California, she said, just for a little. Somewhere quiet, clean air, no meetings, no aliases. I wanted to stop her, tell her this would all blow over, that I was 2 moves away from being done with all of it, but that was a lie, and she deserved better than another one. Simone stood in the hallway, quiet. You letting them go? She asked. I got no choice. You sure? I nodded. Yeah, I'd rather lose my family safe than keep them and lose everything. 3 days later, Sierra was gone, and the feds, they moved in. Not with cuffs, not with noise, but with presence. Agents showed up at Brandy's salon, asked if French Tips was booking anything off the record. A man in a gray suit sat at the coffee shop across from the strip lot 3 days in a row. The usual vendors stopped calling. And the shell company Tate gave me? Gone. Dissolved. Wiped like it never existed. I sat on the rooftop that night looking over the city. It used to feel like opportunity. Now it just looked like pressure. And for the first time since that duffel landed in my back seat, I started thinking about exit strategies. Chapter 20, fall back or fall off. It was time. I'd built empires with fake names and real vision, but now the walls were closing in, slowly, silently. Vegas wasn't my playground anymore. It was a chessboard, and the next move was check or get checked. I pulled Simone into the office that night, just us. No phones, no cameras. Burner laptop only. I'm shutting it down. She blinked. Mobility? All of it. She didn't speak for a second, just stared. What happened to ownership, to empire? I got a son that calls me dad like it him too. Still means something. I already lost his mama. I ain't losing. She stepped closer. What about me? I met her eyes. You knew what this was. I was never going to be your kingpin. I just wanted a clean life with a dirty past. She didn't argue. Didn't cry. Into her coat and pulled out a flash drive. Silver. This is the real black book, she said. I stared at it. The one we had before? I asked. That was a copy. Sanitized. This one? This got names, wire trails, death contracts, the kind of file that erases enemies or makes kings. I hesitated. You want me to use it? She stepped closer. I want you to decide who you want to be. I took the drive and stared out the window. French Tips was done. I'd already signed the closure papers, liquidated the cash, buried the cut deeper than Coinbase wallets. Mobility? I sold the last of the fleet to an East Bay Nigerian crew for 80% of the value, cash only. No VINs, no strings. Tate, gone. Cole Madden, indicted. And the feds? They still had eyes but no evidence, because I left before they could blink. 2 weeks later, I sat in a quiet house in Napa Valley. No guards. No fake walls. Just wind, wine, and silence. Malik ran through the backyard, chasing butterflies with a stick. Sierra sipped tea, pretending like she didn't know I still had that burner in the drawer. And me? I had the flash drive, still untouched, still loaded, because sometimes power don't come from using it. It comes from having it and walking away. Legacy over leverage. Chapter 21, Ghost Prince. Napa was peace, too quiet sometimes. But when you've lived your life watching corners, silence feels like survival. I spent mornings walking the vineyard trails, evenings grilling for Sierra and Malik, Sundays drinking coffee with nothing but birds to answer to. No meetings, no code names, no surveillance footage, just air. But peace is never permanent when you built your name from smoke. Malik came home from school one Friday different. He wasn't loud, wasn't silly, didn't ask to play Xbox. He just went to his room. He was sitting on the floor staring at his backpack. You good? He looked up, hesitated, then handed me a folded piece of paper. It was a photo. Me, back in Vegas, talking to Simone outside the old strip office. The image was grainy, but clear enough. On the back, your father taught us well. Now it's our turn. No name, no number, just a threat wrapped in nostalgia. Sierra found me outside that night, gun on my lap, phone screen dark. You told me it was over, she said. I thought it was. They found our son, Fico. I nodded. I know. I can't do this again. I looked at her. You won't have to. That night I burned the photo, locked the house, sent Malik and Sierra to a private villa in Mendocino under an alias. Then I called Carter. You ever hear of someone using your old name? He was quiet. Yeah, he finally said, but not since D.C. What's in D.C.? He exhaled slow. Your past. And your replacement. Chapter 22, the copycat. They call him Lil Fico. Crazy, right? Young dude, light skin, braided up, flashy as hell, tatted from neck to knuckles, riding around D.C. in a rented matte black CLs like he really earned it. But he's using my name. And worse, he's using my old blueprints. Shell LLCs, fake trade lines, crypto swaps, fake EIN-funded flips, all the work I buried. And someone gave him the original paperwork to resurrect it. I flew to D.C. the next day, solo, quiet, stayed in a suite under an old burner alias the Antoine, consultant. Hit the barber first, wore a hoodie low, didn't bring heat, didn't need it, because when I touched down, it's all intelligence first. I tracked the fake INs. The business names matched my old Nevada ghost shells. Crown Key Logistics East, FT Mobility Group, Tips and Tricks Home Services. The third one hurt the most. He even stole French Tip's name. I pulled up to a location tied to one of the new filings, a fake storage unit in Southeast, waited an hour, and sure enough, he pulled up. Lil dude hopped out with a backpack full of phones and flash drives, slick talking on his Bluetooth, voice loud, movement sloppy, all gas, no awareness. That's when I knew. He wasn't a threat. He was a problem. Because he wasn't just stealing from my past, he was going to get my son caught in the crossfire. Back at the hotel, I hit up Carter. You know him? He sighed heavy. I tried to warn you. These young cats out here idolizing ghosts. You vanished, but your blueprint didn't. Who gave him access? Could be one of Blanco's old guys. Maybe Simone's ghost list. Could even be a Fed trying to stir up heat to smoke you out. I rubbed my forehead. So what do I do? Carter didn't flinch. You erase him before he erases your name? He was still in Mendocino safe, smiling with Sierra in a rental Jeep by the cliffs. But in D.C., my name was back in play, so I laced my boots. I wasn't here for revenge, I was here for correction. Chapter 23, Check the Imitation, was a rainy Thursday night when I pulled up on him. Lil Fico, posted in front of a vape shop with 2 dusty hangers on and a rental CLS he couldn't even fill with gas. I didn't come to make noise, I came to make it real. I stepped out the shadows as he lit a backwood. You the one they call Lil Fico? He looked up, smirked. And who you... That's when he paused, eyes squinted. Recognition hit. He took a step back, playing it cool, but I saw the twitch in his jaw. I'm Big Fico, I said, the original, the one you bit without permission. His voice shifted, but I held my ground. You got 5 minutes before this turns into something ugly, I said, voice low. He laughed. You old heads always talking like y'all invented hustle. Forgotten legacy. The city needed a new blueprint, and I ain't steal nothing. I stepped up. I repurposed A. You stepped in something foul, I shot back. Using my name, my shells, my woman's old business structure, that ain't hustling. That's impersonation. He smirked again, but I saw the crack. You really flew out here for me? Nah. I flew out here for my son, because if one bullet flies under my name again, it don't hit me. It hits my legacy. He paused, then said it. You don't get it. I ain't working alone. I nodded. Who's funding you? He hesitated. Then his arrogance slipped. Guy said you went soft, that you went ghost after Vegas. Said you got lucky off an Uber and a bag full of Blanco's mess. I stepped in close, whispering, I didn't get lucky, kid. I got out, and that makes me dangerous. He tried to push past me when I pinned him to the hood of his own rental. Low, clean, public. Don't ever say my name again. Not on paper, not in the street, not even in prayer. I leaned in. Next time someone funds you to use my name, make sure they tell you what it costs. Later that night, I had Simone pull surveillance on the Shell Corp wiring the money to his business. Axis 10 Holdings. Name rang a bell. I called Carter. He went silent. Axis 10? I asked again. That's old government, black budget contracts, ties to people who helped clean up Blanco's mess. What would they want with a fake Fico? Easy, Carter said. They want the original one out of hiding, and now they know where you are. Chapter 24, Axis 10. I always knew my name carried weight, but now I realized it wasn't just street cred, it was data, it was a blueprint being repurposed at the government. And Axis 10, they weren't a label, they were a program. Simone dug into the back end while I sat in a DC Airbnb with blackout curtains and a prepaid Glock under the couch cushion. She cracked their front end site, with urban redevelopment grants listed as there, but behind it, in disguised fund transfers to over 50 minor LLCs in black communities. Most of them started with my recycled Heinz, and seed money to new entrepreneurs with a clause hidden in 6-point font. All assets and data remain the intellectual property of Axis 10 Holdings. They were using my old tactics to build a network of disposable hustlers, baiting them with free credit game and fake funding, then owning everything they touched. Modern slavery in the form of limited liability. And guess who was on the board of consultants? Cole Madden, the same old suit who once gave me protection in Vegas. Carter met me the next day. You think I built all that protection for fun? He asked. These boys play a different game. You retire, they copy. You ghost, they revive you. Why didn't you tell me sooner? He sipped his tea slow. Because I wanted to see if you built something real enough to matter. You did. Now you got to decide. Simone looked me dead in the face that night. You know what they're scared of? I raised an eyebrow. Not your name, your control. You own the model. You walk away, they replace you. But if you stay in the game and license the formula on your terms, they got to pay you forever. I sat with that. Real power don't come from holding the game. It comes from designing the board. Chapter 25, the contract. They flew me first class to New York. No alias, no ghost names. They booked it under Devon Harris like they wanted me to know this was personal. The meeting was in a glass tower overlooking Manhattan. Floor 62. I wore black slacks, a quiet button-up, left the jewelry at home. No distractions, only leverage. The room was ice cold, 2 men in suits, one white, one Filipino, a lawyer typing in the corner, Simone next to me, expression unreadable. Then the door opened, and in walked Cole Madden, alive, smirking. I see rumors of my indictment were exaggerated, he said. Or fabricated, I replied. He chuckled. Axis 10 needed a cleaner face. I'm just here to bridge the old school and the future. You mean the theft and the contract? Simone slid the flash drive across the table. Everything you're building is from this man's playbook, she said. So let's cut the bullshit. The white suit leaned in. Mr. Daniels, you built something revolutionary, Mr. Harris. You turned undercapitalized environments into scalable shadow leverage ecosystems. I raised an eyebrow. You mean I made money in the hood without needing a bank loan? He nodded. Precisely. Daniels slid a folder across the table. Offer a $2.40 million flat payout. In exchange, pull in full rights to your original LLC structures and EIN patterns. One voiceover in a documentary inspired by your story, and then access to your dormant shell companies under Axis 10. I stared at it. No percentages, no royalties, no ownership, just a buyout. I pushed the folder back. You want the system, I want the credit. Daniels leaned back. Name your number. Keep your number, I said. You want the blueprint? I license it. Monthly. Global rollout. Franchise model. And I keep 51% equity in every application. Cole laughed. You think we'd give you power over that many federal dollars? I smiled. I think you already did. You used my identity to build your house. Now pay rent, or I tear it down. The room went quiet. Simone leaned in. And if you decline, the entire black book hits the Senate. Daniels glanced at Cole. Cole stared at me. No smile now. You really want to be the guy who brings the system down? I shook my head. I want to be the guy who owns it. Without being owned, they didn't sign that day. But they didn't say no. And when I walked out of that tower, I wasn't just a hustler. I wasn't a ghost. Chapter 26, Legacy over Leverage, Finale. 3 months later, the deal was done. Axis 10 licensed my blueprint. Every IN I ever filed. Every LLC structure I ever drafted on a cracked iPad in a dusty Oakland apartment. Every French tips contract. Every fleet schedule. 51% equity. Lifetime royalties. Creative control. And just like that, I became a silent majority owner of a system I never needed to be allowed in. Family to a quiet hillside neighborhood outside of, still close to Oakland, close enough to remember, but far enough to never go back. Sierra started a small wellness business. Malik, straight A's, coding, digital entrepreneurship. He already had a dummy Shopify store by age 12. And me, I own 7 brands you never know were mine. A boutique van rental company in Houston, a consulting firm in Charlotte, company in Phoenix that made $30,000 a week off MBA, all of them tied back to the name Devon Fico Harris. Except now, I paid taxes like a boss. I lived like a ghost. I moved like a myth. Until one day, I got a text from an unmarked number. Still greasy in these streets, we never forgot you. Tone. I hadn't heard that name in years. Tone, one of the wild cards from the early chapters. One of the first to touch the original bag. I called Carter. You seen this? He sighed. Yep, he resurfaced. Looks like he's trying to start a knockoff version of French tips. This time, without the finesse. I shook my head. I left that behind. You sure? Carter asked. Because now, you're the system. That night I looked at Malik asleep on the couch, hoodie on, laptop open, building something, creating like I used to. And I knew I wasn't just building businesses anymore, I was building a legacy.